Hey viewers, welcome to another game of the Casual Pro Gamer. Yeah, I'm not going to redo that because the loading screen on this one took about 5 minutes and that was a little bit too long for my taste. So we are playing a Nunu game today, and according to the skills he picked, he is not going to jungle. So he is going to be lane Nunu, if there's such a thing. And Gangplank seems to be AFK here. Oh well, let's hope he'll come back. So starting off with the Ice Blast, which is kind of a surprising first skill. Normally we see Consume first, but I'll explain the skills in, well, why not right now. First of all, his innate ability. After 7 basic attacks, his next spell is basically free, costs no mana, and you can use that as a jungler as well as a laner. As a laner not so much, because you're not allowed to just keep auto-attacking all of the minions, so you cannot use it as much as you would in lane, or in the jungle, sorry. In the jungle you can basically use this to get all free spells all the time, because your only spell you really need is Consume, and every now and then you want to use Blood Boil or Ice Blast. Ice Blast is the most expensive at 75, so normally if you get the free spell you want to do the Ice Blast, unless you have your ultimate up and then you want to use your ultimate, if you find a good time to do so. So anyway, Consume, his first ability, is basically a heal, which does a lot of damage, but you can only target minions with it. And he is AFK for a while, it seems. So it does 400 true damage, which is a lot. It will scale up when it's leveled. But as I said, you can only target minions and monsters with it. And it is true damage, so it is excellent. It heals up for quite a lot, especially if you have some AP. And all in all, it is a really good skill. So his second skill is basically his support skill, I guess. It is Blood Boil, where he gives movement speed and attack speed to himself and one ally, if he targets the ally. If there's nobody around to target, you can target yourself and you get the buff all on your own. You don't split it with the person you target, you just get the buff doubled. So you get the buff and the other person gets the buff. Or minion. You can also buff minions, and buffing the cannon minion is a really good deal, because then he attacks for 25% more, I think. Oh, 11% for now. No, attack speed is 25%, so I was correct there. So yeah, you would do, or he would do 25% more damage, and that is an awesome thing to have, especially when you're pushing a turret. It is an excellent way to push a lane or to get a turret down, something like that. And the additional movement speed makes it unnecessary for you to go boots first or to go boots before you actually get a decent item going. Of course, combining it with boots would make you run extra super mega fast, and that is even better. So then the skill chosen first, Ice Blast, already at level 2 here. It is the big ball of ice you throw at your opponent. It is targeted, so it always hits. And it does damage, of course, as always. And it slows their movement speed and attack speed by quite a lot, actually. So it is a really, really useful skill to have. But it costs quite a lot of mana. As I said, it's the most expensive skill except for his ultimate. But you can use it to res pretty efficiently, and you can use it to gank if you're a jungler. Because if you target someone with it, they have their movement speed reduced by 30% at level 2. I think it's something like 20% at level 1. But that is enough normally to get your to get a kill with your laning ally. So obviously if you're on the lane here, it's not going to do you that much good, because people are just going to run away and you have to cross all of the minions to get into the well, the attack range, because you are a melee champion. So then the Absolute Zero, his ultimate. As I said, you can also use it as a free skill with your innate ability, which he now has up, so his next spell will be free. And you can use it to save 150 mana, which is quite a lot. And yeah, the Absolute Zero is basically a big circle around you, doing AoE slow, and then after a few seconds, or when you decide to cancel it, it does damage. When you let it go for, so when you charge it up for the entire 3 seconds, it does a whole lot more damage than when you cancel it. But yeah, it does do a very nice slow, and that's mainly its main purpose in team fights, because the slow is much more important for your teammates than the damage you do. Although if you do the damage, the full damage, and you're not stunned or taunted or anything like that, so you can actually channel it up, or silenced of course, it does a lot of damage, especially if you have magic penetration and your enemies don't have magic resist, which in low level games people tend to forget to buy. So in low level games, Nunu is even more awesome than he is in the high level games. In high level games he's not played that much, because people know how to avoid his Absolute Zero, so his ultimate. And late game he is basically just support character, giving slows to the opponent and speeding up the movement and attack speed on allies. But late game he is not really much of a threat damage wise, unless you go full AP, but Nunu is normally played as a tank because of his consume, and his consume gives him a lot of health back, but if you build tank items on him, he can basically stay alive always. And yeah, we'll have to see what I can't read his name, Ingelis or something, makes of this. But yeah, as I said, you can do quite a lot of harassment. You can do quite a lot with his abilities. And his ally decides to take a few tower shots and run into 2 champions. Obviously Nunu can do that because he has a heal. He has a very decent heal, and he has movement speed increase, and he can ice blast his opponents. But being a melee champion like this, not this guy, the Tryndamere, yeah, that makes it fairly impossible. Of course, he is a melee character as well. So, is he actually... No, he wasn't a jungler. He is jungling at this moment, but he's already 0 and 2, and he has 22 minion kills. So not doing the best job ever. Gangplank has come back, and yeah, he's actually at the lowest minion kills. Oh no, never mind. Tryndamere is at the lowest minion kills. And well, on the opponent's team we have Swain and Italy not doing too hot. And all in all, that is a big problem for your team if your teammates aren't really farming up enough. Because, yeah, well, with more gold you can get more items. So basically, if you're Nidalee here, oh, they really need to go in here. But yeah, this ultimate was kind of stupid, because they were here behind the minions and the ultimate was here, so they had to run all the way over, and the slow on the Gangplank ultimate really isn't enough to catch up with them. And yeah, let's not go after them. He is safe, and Nunu is actually going to wait here until at least one of them goes away. Now he can run back in and do some damage, or at least some harassment on one of the 2. And not doing anything here. Yeah, yawning a little bit. yeah, Nunu is not really the best ganking champion, which is why use your ult. Come on. Yeah, he's doing some excellent damage there, and yeah, Nidalee is of course going to get out. He was a little late on the ultimate. Normally you use it just when people walk into range, because by the time they notice they're being slowed, you're already a second and a half through your ultimate, and then if they turn around to get back out, you exactly get to the 3 seconds. And you can always cancel it, of course, by throwing an ice ball, for example, or just by moving. Yeah. So an excellent ultimate there. Normally it doesn't work like that, because normally people understand that if you're gone, that you're somewhere in a bush. And for the low level games it does work quite well. Oh, nice one. Nice ultimate on Asriel. And he is building, yeah, some AP, but I think his ultimate actually scales off AD, so he has both of them. He has both the Doris Blade for AD and the Amplifying Tome for AP. So all in all, really useful. Swain already on a killing spree, which is surprising because he was really low on minions. And yeah, he is quite tanky and his spells do quite some damage, but not enough normally to yeah, to get this much damage done. Okay. Yeah, so his team is trying to engage in a jungle without any wards, and yeah, it's not the best time to engage, but yeah, that's obvious from the amount of sight they had, not from the result. I mean, the result can be due to a lot of things, but in this case the result was due to the fact that they were in a bad spot. And they were trying to fight the enemies and they couldn't actually see them, so they couldn't really make up a good attack or a good attack strategy. And Asriel keeps missing his skill shots. Of course it is really difficult on Asriel to hit all of your skill shots. It takes quite a lot of learning to do so, because you need to understand how fast all of your skill shots move, and oh, my game is really choppy here. Well, not so much the recording, but just my scrolling. It seems that it's not really fluent today. So I'll try to do it with the arrow keys instead. It should be a little more smoothly, go a little more smoothly. But it is also a lot harder to focus on the champions. No, I'm not going to do that. That just is way too fast, and I don't want to mess up my settings, because the settings I set here actually are the same that I use in game, and I don't want to change them every time I go into a game. So 2 enemies in the Gangplank ult, this time a really good ult, because this way they could do a lot of damage. They don't do a lot of damage, but they could have. And they're an excellent Ice Blast. Asriel might actually get out of this, yeah, if the enemy didn't show up on the other side. But now they might get a kill on this guy. Oh, yeah, he's just backing out to help an ally that was already dead. The Trendemir should have jumped over this wall and then escaped that way. You never want to go into this once again when you know there's enemies around. But hey, he did so anyway, and he got punished for it. So Nidalee here with the teleport coming in to save this lane. Not actually necessary, because there were plenty of hit points on the turret, and there were plenty of people standing around anyway. But yeah, that's why there are uses for. Oh, this is funny. You actually see it working here on the new patch. The or one of the new patches. I don't know which one, but Nidalee traps don't actually reveal the wards anymore. And that is very fortunate for all of those that plant wards, and very unfortunate for all the Nidalee players, because it was one of the main uses for the traps, and it is really annoying to have all of your wards destroyed by basically a free spell. So I mean, it costs some mana, but it doesn't cost gold, and your wards do. So that's why they changed it, because it was slightly overpowered in the gold department. But yeah, all in all, I think that's a good change. But I'm sure that a lot of the Nidalee players will not agree with that. That would have been the ultimate opportunity to use the ultimate, by the way. If he ran in here, used his ultimate exactly when he ran into the bush, he would have killed both of them with the help of this guy. Because they would have totally expected him to run through the bush, so they would have clicked through the bush, and by the time they realize that he's in the bush, yeah, we are a few seconds on, and then the ultimate hits full force, failing his spin there, and actually getting killed for that. And then, of course, Ezreal gets killed for it, because he didn't have his, or didn't actually use his flash kind of skill thingy. I'm not sure what it's called, and I don't really care. He has a flash built in as well. So I was talking about that in my previous 3v3. How those kind of characters are really good on the 3v3 map, because, well, here you have several ways to get into this region. I mean, you can get in here, you can get in here, you can get in here. So even if you jump the wall, you're only going to make a very small detour for your opponents. And normally that saves you. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still useful. But on the 3v3 map, you have huge distances. So you would have a wall like this for Dragon, and you would not have this middle patch. So if you jump over the middle section, you would definitely get away. You would have about 5 seconds head start over your opponents, and you can probably even teleport out, because they're not going to, or recall out, because they're not going to follow you there. Of course, on the 3v3 map, the nice flash there, really nice, because that's how you use your flash with ultimates, and excellently done. Anyway, you're going to use your what was I saying? I don't know. Oh, your teleport is even more useless there, because the distances are so much smaller, and you basically can only use it if you're already in the enemy base. But why would you use it then? So you don't want to pick summoners that make you win more, because if you're already winning, you don't need the help of your summoners. The only exception, of course, being Ignite, because it's so useful early on, and it's so useful against well, the heavy healers, such as Nidalee or well, Mundo, obviously. And yeah, you can really use it for a great deal of additional utility on those characters. Of course, you can also use it for Nunu, because Nunu is already is also a heavy healing champion. But yeah, he's so tanky that normally it doesn't really matter. Mundo, it does matter, because Mundo is normally played as more of a tanky DPS, and well, Nunu is a caster, obviously. You can of course use the Ignite on Master Yi as well, because Master Yi is based on health, lifesteal, that's what it's called. On lifesteal, so he really does have a very low HP pool. so he has about I don't know, 2000 life max, and he just heals it continuously while he's attacking, and if you can prevent that, he basically dies. Same goes for any kind of stun or slow, especially attack speed slows. So Nunu would be awesome against Master Yi if he actually did some damage. But yeah, well, with your team you can easily handle a Master Yi, or Tryndamere in this case, by just slowing him down and making sure he doesn't get to attack that often. Of course, with any champion you can buy Frozen Heart and do exactly the same thing. And are they actually going to pick up this Nidalee? Come on, get her. Yes, very nicely done. Thought he missed that, but apparently he didn't. So Nunu just trying to harass a bit. He can tower dive easily, and they can pick up the kill here. Very nice. And now he's going into protect mode to try to save his squishy carries from being killed. And excellently done, slowing everyone and giving the movement speed, attack speed boost to well, whoever is closest. Yeah, you want to consume the blue rate, obviously. And nothing is happening here, so I don't know why he didn't just go for the entire raid camp. Because it's some additional gold, and that is useful to have. Wow, yeah, they lose one in the end, but still a really nice engagement there. I think it's 3 for 1. Yep. 3 for 1 because of the slow, or the, well, the not only the slow, I mean it was just the, oh, what's he called, Tryndamere, enemy Tryndamere, actually overextended and well, got killed because in the 2 seconds he has for his ultimate, or 3 seconds, I don't know, he couldn't actually get away, and partially because of the slow. And unfortunately they don't pick up the forgot his name, her name, but completely riffed on it, Vayne. Normally I can remember part of the name, but Vayne I really didn't remember. They almost picked her off, but not entirely. And after a kind of a rocky start, they have come back to 14 to 17, and it seems they are now a lot stronger. And here's an engagement going on, but there's not actually an engagement, there's just a lot of minions. And yeah, so execution is calling here. We saw that on one of the previous games. I can't remember who bought it, but one of the champions I commented on actually bought it. And yeah, I haven't seen the item used a lot, well, at all, I should say. And this is the second game in like 3 days. So Ezreal going for some heavy AD now, even though he went for Sheen, sure. Sheen is of course a really useful item on just about any champion. And especially if they have some AP ratios, that would be great. But I think most champions do have some AP ratios. There are of course several champions that don't, but yeah, that makes Sheen a very useful item on just about everyone. So they are split as a team, which is a good thing, because they are picking up experience from multiple lanes and all of the minions there, and only the bot lane is completely deserted by both teams. And well, you are losing some experience there. Of course, you're also losing experience by not picking up all of the jungle buffs, because both the enemy and so both of the teams basically, they aren't jungling, and they haven't been jungling at all, except for maybe like now, single blue buff. Yeah, he should have consumed out of that. That would have been so much more useful for his team. And are they actually going to pick up this? No, Tryndamere actually surviving. And Tryndamere dying with his ultimate still intact.
An ally has been slain.
That was bad. That was really bad. 5 for 0. Or 0 for 5, I should say. So on the enemy team, Tryndamere is doing an excellent job, and Swain is doing an excellent job, although Swain doesn't have any minion kills at all. And well, Nunu is falling behind as well. So any important pickups here? Yeah, we see the Rod of Ages, which is an excellent item on Nunu. It is tanky, it does add some AP. But it's not really one of the items he should be getting here, because they're getting killed in team fights, and he couldn't actually get his ultimate off last team fight, and that is really his only usefulness anymore. But as you might see, well, he also only has one spell, so he is a caster, but he only has one spell that does damage, except for his ultimate. But his ultimate really isn't reliable damage, because, well, you never know if you're going to catch someone with it. That's one. But also, you you basically cannot use it a whole lot. It has a long cooldown, 116 seconds at level 2. Even with the cooldown he has, and that is 3%, so it's not a lot, but still. So it's 120 seconds, I guess. So if you can use it once every 2 minutes, I'm not saying that's a viable source of damage. So basically he has one skill, and yeah, using your AP for just the one skill, so getting Rod of Ages because you want to be you want to be a mage. Yeah, that's not really the way you want it. So he is watching something else. Let's see. Probably this fight. Yep. Wow, actually getting out of there for once. At about 80 HP. So that's one basic attack away from getting killed. And let's see if the turret actually picks up someone. Yep. Yeah, this guy is really low singed, and it would be really helpful if they could get some kills. Nunu doing an excellent job of just being in the face of everyone, but I still think he should go for somewhat more of a tank build, because as you can see he's being focused quite heavily, and with some tank items he could just stay in. He could just heal up with his Q and just stay in. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's just that, yeah, well, if you look at where the AP goes, it goes to healing, and that's useful, sure, but I mean, a little AP on one of your items would make it enough to heal properly. And then you only have Ice Blast, because this one doesn't have an AP ratio at all, and your passive doesn't do anything with AP. So yeah, AP is not as useful on Nunu as it is on several other champions. And this guy's dead. Yeah. But they might pick up a kill here. Yeah, so it's a good 1-for-1 trade. Because they actually have some champions now in turret range. And some really nice damage going off here. Wow. Double kill for Nunu, double kill for I think Master Yi, yep. So both of them doing an excellent job in that. And they are now able to push the lane because, well, 4 champions down. The opponents cannot really stop them from taking a turret. Just like they couldn't stop the enemy a few minutes back. Really nice ultimate, although many of you will say, well, he didn't do any damage. But because of that, they could keep attacking the turrets and not care about anything. And they can actually take out the turret here because of that. Because he actually used his ultimate, the Nidalee couldn't stay there to do some harassment, and she actually had to run out of there. So I think there was an excellent use of the ultimate, even though he didn't do any damage. He could of course have cancelled the ultimate at the moment she ran out of it, although I'm not sure if she actually used the tiger pounce there, but or no, it's called pounce, just pounce. But well, doesn't matter. It was a good use, and it will be up before the next team fight, I'm sure, because he knew that with 4 champions down, Nidalee was the only one defending, so he could run out, go back to base, buy some useful stuff, and get back out there. Buying a Thornmail here, since he is a tank, it is a decent choice. But yeah, I think you need some extra life for that. So let's look at, yeah, we're going to look at friendly Tryndamere for reference. So Tryndamere has about 1800 life, or is that 1600? I cannot actually read that. 16. So it's about 1600 life, and Nunu has about 2600 life, and 30% of that is I don't know, 750 damage, something like that. So you're going to do 750 damage if you get attacked by Tryndamere, which is about, I don't know, half his life. So that's how you see whether or not it's useful. So if you can do half his life in damage, that is useful. But of course he does have his ultimate, making it a whole lot less useful. And oh, nice escape here. And this guy getting away at really low HP. That was excellent. And they pick up Nidalee, because Nidalee decided, well, let's suicide in. Enemy making a whole lot of mistakes, although they're still ahead in kills. Doesn't feel that way. And they are now, well, the 2 main champions are still Tryndamere and Swain. So, and with still 2 down, it is probably who ignited Baron. Come on. At least I think, yeah, that was ignite. So Nunu really needs to use his skills here, and that means, oh, they actually picked it up. Wow, nicely done. And they should have stayed. 2 full health champions going off, just teleporting out like that. They could have easily done some damage, picked off at least one of the enemy champions, and then go out of that. But yeah, a little bit premature on the escape, because you have all the time in the world if you're Nunu, and that was an excellent ultimate. Picking off the tank, and then there's only one left, and he is here.
Double kill.
Really nice, really nice. So 5 for 1 there, and they could have done an even better job there, because they could have fought inside of this this enclosure, and then, well, when they were about half-life, or when they got the first kill, or when all of the enemy champions went in, then you flash over the wall
Your team has destroyed
and you run back in through the front with your whole team. So they're going to get an inhibitor here, and yeah, they probably are going to get some turret action here as well. Or they're going to get this turret, that's good too. This is safe damage. I mean, you're going to get this damage even though the enemy might be respawning. But if you're not getting the inhibitor, it's not doing anything. But I heard from Freak that these actually have less HP than these. Oh, we cannot actually see this one. Oh, that's a shame. I wanted to check that. So teleporting back here to spend his 2k gold and going into well, to finish it off next time. Apparently not enough gold yet to buy the item he wants. And are we going to see a nice item here? Oh, Banshee's Veil is excellent. Banshee's Veil is actually my preferred first item on Nunu, because it prevents people from disrupting your ultimate. Your ultimate can only be disrupted by spells. So if you have Banshee's Veil, they need to have 2 spells that can actually well, they have to have 1 spell to break your Banshee's Veil, and then 1 spell to either stun you or silence you or whatever. But it's so much harder for single champions to do that, because most of champions they will use the stun spell immediately, because they're just not paying attention to the fact that you have Banshee's Veil. And then you get to do your full ultimate instead of, well, what we've been seeing. He gets shot by Vayne, for example, and Vayne has only one. Yeah, I think she only has 1 spell that can break a Banshee's Veil, because her ultimate isn't a real spell. Her silver bolts aren't a real spell, and her tumble, I think, is just a basic attack, or counted as a basic attack. But I'm not sure about the tumble. The tumble might actually be a spell in and of its own, so it might actually be usable to break Banshee's Veil. Missing the ice ball there, or whatever it's called, ice blast. And yeah, he could really have used his ultimate there to prevent these guys from getting away. But this was good too. With the slow on Gangplank, they actually get a pretty easy kill. And yeah, the enemy's really falling one by one here, and only Singed can stand up to them, but he isn't too much of a threat. He can disrupt the Banshee's Veil, I wanted to say, and he did. But yeah, no ultimate coming out from Nunu. Yep, and now we have 3 inhibitors down. This one will respawn pretty soon, but still they are going to take out the 2 Nexus turrets and then the Nexus. So, I hope you enjoyed the game, and please rate the video and leave me a comment on whatever. So I'll see you next time. GG.